The night I stayed at my best friend's place, someone entered my room. I struggled desperately, but they pinned my hands above my head. It's been a month, don't you miss me? His low, clear, and clean voice was incredibly alluring. Before I could even speak, he domineeringly sealed my lips. Nora, I'm back. Just then, my best friend Chloe's voice came from outside the door. The man on top of me immediately froze, lowering his voice. Who are you? I trembled as I replied, I'm Nora. Damn it. The man cursed, quickly getting off me. In the dark, he took out his phone and sent a text. The footsteps outside the door suddenly stopped. Soon, Chloe turned around and left, and I heard the door close outside. I immediately let out a sigh of relief. After confirming Chloe had left, I switched on the bedside lamp. The room was instantly filled with light. Ethan's chiseled, handsome face appeared strikingly before me. He was Chloe's boyfriend. Chloe had told me he was recently out of state on a business trip and wouldn't be back soon. But for some reason, he had suddenly returned tonight. My clothes were disheveled, my face flushed, and I pulled the covers defensively, huddled at the foot of the bed. Seeing the panic on my face, a trace of remorse flickered across Ethan's brows. I'm sorry, you were sleeping in Chloe's room, and you were wearing her pajamas. I mistook you for her. Still shaken, I couldn't speak for a while. After I calmed down, I whispered, yes, I know. It was just a misunderstanding. Ethan and Chloe had been dating for almost a year. He was a bit aloof and didn't talk much. In the few times we had eaten together, our conversations never lasted more than 3 sentences. If I hadn't been staying with Chloe tonight, this mix-up wouldn't have happened. Thank you. Hearing my words, Ethan's brow finally relaxed. As if remembering something, he turned and opened the door. I'll go down first. I'll tell her I was stopped by Uncle at the door. It'll be a problem if she doesn't see me. 10 minutes later, Chloe came upstairs. But she was alone. Nora, were you sleeping in the room just now? Yeah. I was a bit tired, so I went to bed early. Did you call me when you just got back? Yes. But then Ethan suddenly came to find me, so I went downstairs. Hearing his name, I felt a little uneasy. So why didn't he come up? I told him you were staying with me for a few days, and since it was so late, he worried you'd be uncomfortable with a man coming up, so he left. Seeing act as if nothing was wrong, I felt much more at ease. That night, after Chloe fell asleep, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Ambiguous images involving Ethan kept flashing in my mind. His hot breath on my neck and chest. His burning hand lingering around my waist. His firm, strong body pressed close against mine. It was as if the harder I tried to suppress them, the more those images spread like a virus, invading every nerve. Chloe had said that although Ethan was very good to her, he was somewhat distant in that regard. But just now, he had been clearly overly passionate, like a ravenous wolf, ready to devour me whole. The next evening, Chloe called Ethan over, and we all went to a nearby restaurant for dinner. After ordering, Chloe went out to the restroom. Only and I were left in the private dining room. Ethan and I didn't communicate much to begin with. He was quiet, and I was a bit introverted. After what happened last night, the atmosphere was even more awkward when I was alone with him. After a moment of silence, I reached for the water pitcher to pour myself some water, wanting something to do. But, sitting opposite me, also reached out at the same time. The moment his cool fingertips brushed against mine, I flinched back my hand as if shocked. Noticing my reaction, Ethan also froze in place, his ears slightly flushed. But after a moment, he still took the water pitcher and poured me a glass of water. Are you still bothered by what happened last night? Ethan handed me the glass of water. I looked at his long, well-defined fingers, and my face immediately flushed. And no, not anymore. It was just a misunderstanding, we both know that. I lowered my gaze and took the glass, trying to appear calm. But my mind raced, recalling everything related to his long, large hands. His burning palm moving down my waist. Every inch it moved brought a burning, tingling sensation. I hadn't had much dating experience. Besides a first relationship in college that lasted only 3 months and never went beyond hugs and kisses, I had never had intimate physical contact with a man. What did to me was my first time. Don't worry, I'll pretend nothing happened. After all, you didn't do it on purpose. And I won't tell Chloe, so it won't affect your relationship. Chloe was my best friend. I had never thought of anything happening between me and my best friend's boyfriend. Ethan hadn't caused me any substantial harm. Just letting it go was for the best for everyone. Thank you. Soon, Chloe returned. Our conversation instantly stopped. When we were almost done eating, Chloe received a call, saying she had an urgent matter at the office and had to go back to work overtime. She asked Ethan to give me a ride home. Ethan agreed. A few days ago, because Ethan was out of state, Chloe had asked me to stay with her. Now that Ethan was back, he would often go to Chloe's place. I naturally didn't feel right continuing to stay there, to avoid being a bother. My rented apartment was in an older apartment complex, where cars couldn't drive in, and there weren't even streetlights nearby. Ethan, fearing for my safety alone, politely walked me to the apartment building entrance. As we reached the entrance, the familiar uncle walked over. Well, your boyfriend's bringing you home today, huh? He's handsome. Good taste, young lady. Hearing Frank's words, my face immediately flushed. I quickly waved my hand. Uncle, you're mistaken, He's not my boyfriend. Don't talk nonsense. Oh, don't be shy. What's there to be embarrassed about? Such a handsome boyfriend, why hide him? Uncle didn't believe me and teased me. I looked awkwardly at Ethan, who remained silent beside me, wishing the ground would swallow me whole. This is my best friend's boyfriend. He just gave me a ride home since it was on his way. Seeing my nervous and flustered expression, Uncle finally realized his mistake. He apologized and walked away. Thank you for bringing me back. I'll go up now. You should head back soon too. After getting home, I slumped onto the sofa, feeling deflated. Uncle really thought too highly of me. How could someone as ordinary and unremarkable as me have a boyfriend as handsome as Ethan? He was 6 feet 2 inches tall, with broad shoulders and a narrow waist. His face was so perfectly sculpted that even celebrities couldn't compare. Perhaps due to my personality since childhood, I actually had a natural aversion to extremely striking, aggressively beautiful features. But was different. She was a classic bright and bold beauty. Both her appearance and demeanor matched Ethan perfectly. However, I actually had admirers too. One morning at the office, I found a sandwich and a latte on my desk. There was also a small note beside them that read, "Remember to eat a good breakfast." This wasn't the first time I had received breakfast. I also knew who it was. It was Ryan, a colleague from the neighboring department. We had exchanged WhatsApp contacts because of work interactions. He had been pursuing me for some time, providing everything from thoughtful breakfasts to afternoon tea desserts. A thoughtful breakfast, how sweet. I'm so envious. Chloe, without me noticing, walked up behind me, patted my shoulder, and smiled. Is it Ryan? Yeah. I nodded. He's really thoughtful. Ethan has never done such sweet little gestures for me. Chloe just casually mentioned it and went to her own desk. I took out my phone and messaged Ryan, "Thanks for the breakfast, I'll enjoy it." He quickly replied, "Then I'll bring it for you every day." During my lunch break, I secretly asked Chloe, "What do you think of Ryan?" Chloe and I had only been at the office for a year. Ryan was a senior colleague, 2 years older than us. "He's pretty good, you could try getting to know him." You think he's good too? Although he's nowhere near Ethan, he's still a handsome guy with a refined look. And he's capable at work. Yeah, he's a good person, and he's very proactive with me. Then give it a try. If you two become a couple, we can go on double dates. That evening, we had a departmental dinner. I didn't expect Ryan to be there too. I was a little thrilled, thinking he must have come just for me. He requested a love song and kept looking at me while singing. Chloe, sitting beside me, whispered how sweet it was. She made me a little shy, so I just kept my head down and drank water. In between, everyone played games together, and the atmosphere was great. After drinking too much water, I went to the restroom. When I came out, I saw Chloe and Ryan leaving the private dining room together and heading to the end of the corridor. I found it odd. Because they had barely spoken to each other just now, yet they looked very familiar going out together. I followed them, only to find Ryan and Chloe embracing behind the emergency exit door. It was a corner, so they couldn't see me, but I could see their actions clearly. "What do you like about Nora?" Chloe leaned against Ryan's chest, smiling as she looked at him. "Nora looks very well behaved and innocent, quite suitable for a girlfriend," Ryan replied, his gaze intensely fixed on Chloe. "Heh. She's so boring, and her personality is rigid. Wouldn't dating her be incredibly dull?" Hearing's words, I involuntarily tensed up. "But she's certainly easy to pursue. After all, she doesn't have much dating experience, so if you're just a little nice to her, she'll fall for you." Chloe's tone was full of sarcasm and disdain. I stood frozen, as if a bucket of cold water had been dumped over my head. "Actually, the person I like is you, but you have a boyfriend. So I can only settle for second best." "You won't pursue someone just because they have a boyfriend?" "I do love my boyfriend very much. But spending some time and energy on you isn't out of the question either. After all, you have qualities my boyfriend doesn't. Like what? Ryan asked, curious. Chloe's finger traced Ryan's lips. You're a very good kisser. My boyfriend is handsome, but in that regard, he's very cold. Hearing this, Ryan immediately leaned in and kissed her. Chloe wrapped her arms around his neck, and they kissed passionately. Seeing that scene, I simply couldn't believe it. Was that the Chloe I knew? She was the one who encouraged me to try getting to know Ryan. Yet, behind my back, she was getting intimate with Ryan and demeaning and ridiculing me. I had no idea when they started. But I refused to believe that my best friend of over 10 years could be like this. Just as I was about to rush up and confront them, my wrist was suddenly grabbed. I spun around. What I saw was Ethan, his face dark. I froze instantly. When did he show up here? Did he hear everything Chloe and Ryan said? Ethan, you. As soon as I spoke, Ethan pulled me into a nearby alcove. The door closed, and I was pressed against him. In the dim space, there was only the closeness of our bodies and the mingling of our breaths. Chloe says I'm cold and not a good kisser. What do you think? My eyes widened, my heart pounding like a drum. Why are you asking me? Ethan leaned in closer, his chiseled face almost touching mine. Didn't you feel it that night? Hearing's words, my face instantly turned beet red. I was utterly speechless. The next second, Ethan's expression became exceptionally sorrowful. At such close proximity, I could smell alcohol on his breath. Ch. Lowe said he was in the marketing department at the office and occasionally had to entertain clients. I never expected such a coincidence, to run into Chloe cheating at the same karaoke bar today. Honestly, I never thought Chloe would betray me. Ethan's voice was gloomy and deep, clear yet forlorn. I fell silent. After all, Chloe had not only betrayed Ethan but also me. I considered her my best friend. She had been getting intimate with the man pursuing me, and devaluing me completely, all behind my back. My parents divorced when I was in elementary school. My father, on a rare occasion, took me to school, but that was when he got involved with a classmate's mother. Was it my fault? Ethan's usually calm and cold face became fragile and vulnerable. A hint of moisture seemed to well up in his dark, beautiful eyes. My heart stirred. My heart ached for him. Is it my fault for being too distant, which made Chloe betray me? Ethan looked at me. In that moment, Ethan's questioning gaze was so intense it felt like it could set me on fire. Memories of that night flooded over me. I suddenly felt thirsty. My senses, breath, and heartbeat were no longer my own. As leaned on my shoulder, panting, I suddenly pushed him away in a panic. You've had too much to drink, calm down. With that, I quickly fled the alcove. This was all too crazy. When I returned to the private dining room, Chloe and Ryan had already left. Seeing me, Chloe immediately grabbed me affectionately. Where were you? Ryan was looking for you earlier. I went to the restroom. I was still shaken, but seeing Chloe's feigned smile, I couldn't help but pull my arm away from her grasp. Come on, you two should sing a duet. Ryan's been waiting for ages. Chloe pointed to Ryan beside her. Ryan feigned shyness, holding the microphone and looking at me expectantly. I was utterly astonished by their acting. But I wasn't that good of an actress. I'm not feeling well, so I'm leaving now. A few days later, Chloe suddenly came to me, crying and complaining that Ethan had broken up with her. When I asked her why, she stammered, making excuses about minor disagreements or incompatible personalities. I, of course, knew the real reason. But seeing her so heartbroken, I didn't expose her. Ryan was just pursuing me. While I had a slight liking for him, that was all it was. Now that I knew he didn't truly like me, I would simply ignore him. But was my only good friend. We had known each other since middle school, and our friendship spanned over a decade. I had always been soft-natured, and my family wasn't well off, so I occasionally got bullied by classmates. After I became friends with Chloe, she always stood up for me and protected me. In the years when I cared about appearances, I wore faded t-shirts and jeans every day. But she, without a second thought, gave me brand new dresses she had never worn. From our school days to our careers, she had given me so much help and love. I remembered all of it. I wouldn't forgive Ryan, but I selectively forgave Chloe. Chloe stopped crying and hugged me tighter, aggrieved. Yeah. Nora, it's good to have you by my side. You're so kind. Because discovered Chloe's infidelity, Chloe and Ryan stopped seeing each other in private. Consequently, Ryan pursued me even more intensely. Besides his unwavering breakfast deliveries, he would find all sorts of reasons to send me flowers and gifts, using the excuse of being on his way to offer me rides home. But I only felt disgusted. After I rejected Ryan's movie date request for the third time, he finally showed his true colors. After finishing my overtime work, Ryan walked up from behind and grabbed my wrist. Nora, what are you playing at? You accepted so many breakfasts and gifts from me, flirted with me on WhatsApp for so long, and now you're suddenly telling me you're not interested? Are you playing games with me? Let go of me. I didn't know what had gotten into Ryan. I'll convert all those Hings into cash and return them to you. Please, stop harassing me. You think you can just end it whenever you want? Do you take me for some worthless lapdog? Please have some self-respect. I didn't force you to do any of those things. I didn't want to get into a dispute with Ryan, so I turned to leave. He chased after me and grabbed my bag. In the struggle, I accidentally fell to the ground. Ryan tried to help me up, but someone punched him, knocking him to the ground. Stay away from her. I looked up to see Ethan standing in front of me, glaring furiously at Ryan. Ryan was stunned by the punch and scurried away. Nora, are you all right? Ethan helped me up from the ground. I'm fine, I just accidentally tripped. I instinctively waved my hand. During the struggle with Ryan, my collar had been torn open, exposing a large area of skin on my chest. Ethan noticed and immediately took off his jacket, handing it to me. Put this on first. I looked down and realized how exposed I was. So I quickly took it and put it on. Thank you. But suddenly, Ethan's gaze fell on my chest, becoming deep and intense. I froze for a second, my heart pounding. But I quickly realized he was looking at my collarbone. There, I had a pink butterfly birthmark that I was born with. I didn't know if it was my imagination, but Ethan's gaze seemed to hold a hint of surprise and hesitation. Why was he staring there? Was it because Chloe also had a similar scar on her collarbone? I instinctively pulled the collar of the jacket tighter, covering my entire body. I'm sorry. Noticing my action, Ethan suddenly reacted, his face reddening as he apologized to me. A moment later, Ethan regained his composure. I'll take you back. I nodded and got into the car with Ethan. After that day, Ryan stopped bothering me. Meanwhile, Chloe was busy trying to find a way to get back together with Ethan. She called Ethan every day, repeatedly went to his place to see him, and even came to my apartment in the middle of the night to drink and complain. I thought she truly loved him. But I also didn't realize that when you love someone so much, your body can still betray you. At the end of month meeting, our department had assigned a major project this year to Chloe. But this time, she used the excuse of her own inadequacy and wanted me to take over the project with her. The office places great importance on this project, and if we do it well, a promotion and raise by year-end are guaranteed. Nora, you're my good friend, of course I have to bring you in on something this good. Hearing's words, I was a little touched. Perhaps back then, she was just caught up in the moment, wanting to feel superior to Ryan. To discuss project details, the client arranged to meet us for dinner at a restaurant. They booked a spacious private dining room. The project discussion went fairly smoothly, except that during the meeting, several of the representatives across from us kept offering Chloe and me toasts. Chloe knew I didn't drink, so she kept taking the drinks for me. She held her liquor well. But after she drank 4 or 5 consecutive glasses, I couldn't watch anymore. I'll take this one. I looked at Chloe's flushed cheeks and took the glass from in front of her. Then I downed the drink in one gulp. Ms. Grace is quite straightforward herself. The man who spoke was Robert, 40 years old, a successful vice president at the office. Robert smiled at me with satisfaction. Later, Robert specifically offered me a toast. I had no choice but to drink another glass. But soon, I felt dizzy and, overwhelmed by the alcohol, lost consciousness. When I vaguely regained consciousness, I found myself lying in an unfamiliar hotel room. I tried to get up but found my body had no strength. From the sofa nearby, I heard Chloe and Robert talking. Aren't you two best friends? How could you be so cruel, willing to hand her over to me? I was startled. Best friends? Huh. She acts innocent, but deep she's very cunning, and she even dared to steal my man behind my back. Too bad she's too naive and can't outplay me. She's only good for being used and discarded. Chloe's words were like sharp knives, each one piercing my heart. If someone hadn't sent me photos of her wearing my boyfriend's jacket and getting into his car with him, I would still be clueless. I froze, a chill running down my spine. It was that day. She looks pretty innocent, you really can't tell. Robert let out a lewd laugh. Chloe forced a smile. So, Mr. Robert, you'll also keep your word and smoothly approve this project cooperation once it's done, right? Don't worry. After the two agreed, Chloe walked over and glanced at me. Someone like you is only fit to be my shadow, my accessory. And you dare to covet my man? Dream on. After confirming I was still unconscious, Chloe left. Robert then went into the bathroom to shower. Even more devastating than realizing I had been drugged was the fact that Chloe had betrayed me for the second time. It turned out that her so-called deep friendship was all an act. All she wanted was to trick me into coming here, to be used by Robert, and to get rid of me, whom she considered an obstacle to her reconciliation with Ethan. Forgiving her the first time made me naive. To forgive her a second time would make me a fool. But no matter what, I had to escape from here first. When came out wrapped in a towel, his disgusting hands began to grope me. I grabbed the ashtray I had just hidden under the sheet and, with all my strength, smashed it on his head. Robert collapsed immediately. I struggled to get up, opened the room door, and ran out. After exiting the hallway, I realized I was on the floor above the restaurant where we had just eaten. Dining downstairs, guest rooms upstairs. I ran down the corridor, looking for an elevator to go downstairs. At a corner, I suddenly stumbled headfirst into someone's arms. The familiar scent made me instantly realize WH. Oh, it was. I looked up and saw Ethan's refined, pale face. He quickly wrapped his arms around me, who was about to fall, his eyes wide with alarm. Nora, what's wrong? I glanced at the hall next to us. There was a sign for his office at the entrance, indicating some kind of event was being held. But judging by his formal suit and hairstyle, it must have been an important event. Take me away. At that moment, Ethan seemed like my only lifeline. I clutched his clothes and subtly nestled into his embrace. I didn't know if it was because of the drug, but when he held me, my body became uncontrollable. I only wanted to be closer to him, to greedily breathe in his scent, to merge with him. Noticing my flushed face and rapid breathing, Ethan immediately picked me up in his arms and carried me to the underground parking garage. He opened the car door and placed me in the back seat. I'm taking you to the hospital. He started to pull away, but I yanked him back inside. As the car door closed, I flipped over and straddled him. Ethan was startled by my action, looking at me in surprise, not daring to move. I reached out and wrapped my arms around Ethan's neck. Ethan. Ethan froze. I lowered my head, my lips almost touching his. Don't you want to finish what we started that night? The next second, Ethan's breathing became erratic. As his Adam's apple bobbed violently, I felt the change in his body. Nora, get a grip, what's wrong with you? But he still didn't touch me. Because of the drug, I was in agony and tore open my clothes. My chest was exposed. Ethan's gaze instantly landed on my collarbone. His body grew hotter, and his eyes instantly became so intense it was almost overwhelming. I didn't think much of it, assuming it was a physiological response. So I leaned down and bit his earlobe. You feel something for me, right? My question made Ethan's breathing even more hurried. In the confined, private space, there was only the ambiguous mingling of our breaths. The temperature steadily rose. Ethan's hands, resting at his sides, were white-knuckled and strained, with veins popping out disturbingly. You see, I'm in a lot of pain. You and Chloe have already broken up. Just, help me. Seeing me bite my lips until they bled, Ethan finally stopped restraining himself. He pressed the back of my neck and kissed me wildly. It felt so good. The agonizing, crawling sensation from before seemed to vanish instantly. All I could feel were his burning lips melting me, moving inch by inch down my neck, landing on my pink butterfly birthmark. Sucking, grinding, almost addictive. The car windows were tinted for privacy. The back seat had enough space. Ethan took off his jacket, placed it under the seat, and then rolled over, pinning me beneath him. Nora, have you thought this through? He looked at me. His dark, beautiful eyes were hazy with desire. I clutched the lapels of his shirt and pulled him down. I answered with a kiss. Let morality and conscience go to hell. Those things only bound honest people like me. Kindness wouldn't get me anywhere. It would even push me into a more terrifying abyss. But at this moment, I just wanted to be held tight by him, crushed. To become one. Ethan no longer hesitated. I could feel that he had been waiting for this moment for a long time too. Our bodies' reactions were much more honest. Both mine and his. Afterward, I was utterly exhausted and fell asleep. The next day when I woke up, I found myself at Ethan's place. But wasn't there. Soon after, there was a knock at the door. It was Chloe. Ethan, are you up? I bought you breakfast, shall we eat together? Hearing her voice, the anger, despair, and deep pain of betrayal from last night instantly overwhelmed me, making it hard to breathe. I wiped away the tears welling at the corners of my eyes, trying hard to calm myself down. Then I opened Ethan's closet, found one of his white shirts, put it on, and walked barefoot to open the door for Chloe. Nora. What are you doing here? Seeing me, Chloe's face was filled with disbelief. Her delicately made-up face was almost contorted. I chuckled softly, leaning against the doorframe, looking at her indifferently. I had deliberately left the top 2 buttons undone. Chloe should have had a full view of the suggestive marks on my chest and neck. She was practically trembling with rage. Yes, why am I here? I should be in Mr. Roberts' bed, shouldn't I? Hearing my words, Chloe's face instantly turned ashen. Nora, what are you talking about? I was drunk yesterday, and when I woke up, there was no one in the private dining room. I was going to ask you why you left without calling me. Chloe was putting on an act for me. I watched her lie so earnestly. I really wanted to give her an Oscar. Stop pretending. I heard everything you and Robert said in that room. Chloe's expression instantly changed. But you probably didn't expect me to escape. And, thanks to you, I also slept with Ethan. I described it calmly. The meal container in Chloe's hand clattered to the floor, shattering into pieces. Oh, right. Didn't you always say he was cold in that aspect? But it's strange, with me, he's overly passionate. I deliberately tugged at my collar. Could it be your problem? Perhaps simply isn't interested in you. Chloe finally broke down emotionally and lunged at me to hit me. But before her palm could land, her wrist was firmly gripped. Ethan was back. He was carrying a bag, seemingly breakfast from a convenience store. Ethan, you and Nora. Seeing Chloe's tears streamed down her face in grievance. How could you do this? Why would you betray me? Chloe clutched Ethan's collar, accusing him tearfully. But didn't move. He coldly shook off her hand, putting distance between them. You were the one who betrayed me first. We broke up a long time ago. And also, Ethan straightened up, his eyes filled with contempt and anger for Chloe. Do I need to explain, in front of Nora, how you tricked me into dating you in the first place? Hearing this, Chloe's tears instantly stopped. As if she had lost all strength in her body, Chloe looked at me guiltily. I didn't know what Ethan meant. He entered, ignoring Chloe. The door closed with a bang. Inside, only and I remained. About last night, there's something I want to tell you. I looked at Ethan, a flicker of unease in my heart. Sit down, take your time. Ethan led me to the sofa, and we sat down side by side. That day, I wore your jacket and got into your car, and Chloe found out. Chloe misunderstood our relationship, so she planned to harm me. She drugged my drink and sent me to the bed of Robert, our project partner. When I saw you yesterday, I had just knocked Robert unconscious and escaped from the room. I never expected to run into you. But after I met you, I had only one thought in my mind. I wanted to get revenge on Chloe. Chloe was still clinging to you, and I knew you were important to her. So in the car, I deliberately did that to you. Ethan, I'm sorry. It was all deliberate. I used you. After saying that, I nervously watched Ethan's face, observing his changing expression. I thought he would be angry. But he said, it's fine. You don't need to apologize to me. No matter what your intentions were, I was willing. Both physically and mentally. Hearing his words, my face involuntarily flushed. Ethan went back into the room and came out with a tin box. Inside lay a school emblem that read, Northwood School. Seeing that school emblem, I couldn't help but feel surprised. That was my high school. But why did Ethan have my school emblem? During the summer camp in your freshman year of high school, do you remember saving a drowning boy while camping by Willow? Hearing's words, I froze for a moment. My memory was pulled back to a long, long time ago. That boy, was you? Ethan nodded. Chloe said she was the one who saved him. Chloe and I met at a Friday Ends gathering. When we were talking about middle school, she mentioned she went to Northwood School, so I casually asked if they had a summer camp by Willow that year. She thought about it and said yes. I was very excited and wanted to ask her about the girl who saved me, but she said it was her. At first, I was a bit skeptical, but then I saw the scar on her collarbone. The only thing I remembered from that rescue was a pink birthmark on the collarbone, visible through the wet clothes of the girl who saved me. Although the shape was a bit different, Chloe said it was because too much time had passed, and I remembered it incorrectly. I thought I had finally found the girl I had been looking for all these years, so I started dating her. But I never expected her to be lying to me all along. Ethan looked at me, his gaze focused and intense. Nora, I was mistaken. You're the one I've been looking for all this time. I remained silent. Yet, I vaguely recalled talking about Chloe's collarbone scar when we showered together previously. She had said it was from when she was naughty as a child and tipped over a hot water pitcher, burning herself. So she used my identity to date Ethan. To prevent the truth from being revealed, she even initially kept Ethan and me from meeting, only introducing him to me after they had been dating for a long time. Chloe also kept completely silent about how she and Ryan met and fell in love. Do you remember the question you asked me last night? Seeing I didn't speak, Ethan looked at me. What? That day I kissed you, was it just because I was angry about being betrayed? Or was there something else? Ethan's gaze was gentle yet fervent, and I found myself a little dazed by it. The next second, he pulled me up. I landed on his lap, and he held my waist tightly. Our eyes met. My heart raced. There was something else. There had been for a long time. When leaned in to kiss me, I instinctively closed my eyes. This should be considered our first real kiss. Sunlight streamed in from the window, making the moment especially beautiful. I wrapped my arms around his neck, deepening the kiss. The project was lost. Chloe, however, pinned the blame on me. She slandered me, saying I tried to seduce Robert, and when that failed, Robert's wife found out, which is why the project was ruined. Chloe spoke with conviction, even producing photos. Those were probably taken when I was unconscious, being embraced by Robert as he led me into a hotel room. In that moment, I just felt utterly disheartened. Even until the very end, Chloe had no intention of letting me off the hook. But what she didn't know was that while she was talking to Robert that day, I secretly turned on my phone's voice recorder. I recorded their entire conversation. I played the recording in front of everyone at the office. Chloe went from being the accuser to the target of public scorn. Everyone knew she was the liar. Unable to withstand the pressure of criticism and her boss's accusations, Chloe voluntarily resigned. As she packed her things and left, I followed her downstairs. Chloe, perhaps after today, we won't meet again. So, finally, I want to ask you one question. After 10 years of friendship, why would you do this to me? Why would you hurt me repeatedly? Chloe turned around and looked at me, her face expressionless. You know what? I don't like Ryan at all. But knowing he liked you, I actively pursued him. Who knew he'd be so easy to ensnare? He took the bait right away. Chloe spoke nonchalantly, with a look of utter disdain on her face. I clenched my fists, feeling choked up for a moment. And I don't think I did anything wrong by using your relationship with Ethan. You don't deserve Ethan at all. Not in looks, family background, or ability. How are you even comparable to me? Nora, do you really think I considered you my best friend? I just enjoyed the feeling of superiority over you, enjoyed seeing you fall short in every aspect. But in the end, Chloe's lips twitched, as if in self-mockery. You won. You won completely. Just then, Ethan arrived, coming to pick me up from the office. Seeing Chloe's eyes welled up with tears, but didn't look at her, he simply walked over to me. Didn't we say we'd go see a movie? Shall we go? Chloe's words, every word pierced my heart. But once I understood, I stopped agonizing over it. I just spent 10 years truly seeing a person for who they were. I nodded, linked my arm through Ethan's, and we left together, still in Chloe's sight. On's day, Ethan knelt on one knee at an upscale restaurant, holding a ring, and proposed to me. I was completely surprised. I froze, forgetting how to react. A hint of hesitation crept into my heart. It felt too fast. Seeing my lack of reaction, Ethan grew a little annoyed and spoke loudly. You slept with me, and you're not going to take responsibility? Not even give me a proper title? There were other people in the restaurant. Hearing's voice, everyone turned to look. I never expected Ethan to tease me like this. My face instantly flushed crimson. I immediately stood up and moved to cover his mouth. Lower your voice, everyone can hear you. Ethan laughed, pulling my hand away, his handsome face gazing intently at me. I want everyone to hear it. Otherwise, you'll renege on your promise. I was at a loss. All right, I promise. Now get up. Ethan was relentless. Promise me what? Promise. To marry you. Only then was Ethan satisfied. In front of everyone, he put the ring on my finger. Friends, I successfully proposed. He excitedly shared his joy with everyone around us. A wave of enthusiastic applause and cheers instantly enveloped us. Meeting everyone's gaze, he leaned down,